Deep in the heart of India, within the rugged basalt cliffs of the Charanandri Hills, lies a secret that challenges everything we know about ancient engineering. This is not a city built from the ground up, but a civilization carved from the top down. 100 caves stretch across the volcanic rock, yet only 34 are revealed to the curious eyes of the world. Since 1983, UNESCO has recognized this site as a sanctuary of human genius, but the numbers only tell half the story. How did ancient builders, working between the years 600 and 1000 Common Era, remove 200,000 tons of solid rock with nothing but hammers and chisels? How did three rival religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, share the same cliffside for 4 centuries without a single drop of blood being spilled? Today, we journey into the Ellora Caves to uncover a message left for us in stone. If you seek to understand how humanity can transcend its own limits, you must look at what they left behind in the silence of the rock. Stay with us as we descend into a world where mountains became temples and time itself was chiseled into eternity. Before we unlock these ancient gates, hit the subscribe button to join our journey through the world's most hidden histories. To understand Ellora, you must first understand the ground upon which it stands. The Deccan Plateau is a land of fire and ash, formed millions of years ago by volcanic eruptions that left behind thick layers of basalt. This stone is hard, dark, and unforgiving, yet it possesses a unique quality that allows it to hold incredible detail for 1,000 years. The geography of the Charanandri Hills was not chosen by accident. It sat at the intersection of ancient trade routes that connected the ports of the western coast to the wealthy inland cities of the north. This was the Silicon Valley of the ancient world, a hub where merchants, monks, and monarchs traded silk, spices, and spiritual ideas. The economy of the region was booming, funded by powerful dynasties like the Rashtrakutas and the Yadavas. They didn't just want to build monuments, they wanted to build a statement of power that would outlast their own names. They poured their vast wealth into the cliffs, transforming a natural barrier into a spiritual lighthouse. The timeline of Ellora is a masterclass in cultural evolution. It began in the middle of the 6th century, around the year 550, when the first Hindu foundations were laid. But as the centuries turned, the focus shifted. From the year 600 to 730, the sound of chisels echoed with the prayers of Buddhist monks. Then the pendulum swung back to massive Hindu expansions, followed finally by the intricate, delicate work of the Jain community between 730 and 950. It is a chronological tapestry where styles overlap and bleed into one another. You can see a Buddhist pillar design appearing in a Hindu hall or a Jain decorative motif gracing a Hindu doorway. This was not a site of competition, but a site of conversation. The artisans didn't care about the boundaries we draw today. They cared about the perfection of the form. But the true heart of Ellora, the climax of all human effort, is Cave 16. This is the legendary Kailasa Temple, and to call it a building is an insult to its existence. Most temples are built by stacking stones, but Kailasa was created by subtracting them. The workers began at the summit and dug downward, carving the roof, then the pillars, then the floor. They removed over 200,000 tons of basalt, and they did it with such precision that if they made one mistake, the entire structure would have been ruined. There was no room for error. There were no blueprints as we know them. It was an act of pure mathematical faith. Kailasa is dedicated to Shiva, the god of destruction and transformation, and it is designed to mirror Mount Kailash, his celestial home. When you stand in the courtyard, you feel the weight of the mountain pressing down on you, yet the temple seems to float. Giant stone elephants guard the base, appearing to lift the entire massive structure on their backs. The walls are not empty spaces, they are living libraries. You can walk along the corridors and read the entire Ramayana and Mahabharata carved into the stone. Every battle, every prayer, and every sacrifice is frozen in basalt. It is a work of art that rivals the scale of the Parthenon in Greece, yet it was achieved through a method that seems almost impossible even with modern technology. Why would a king spend a lifetime and a fortune on a single rock? Perhaps because he knew that wood rots and gold is stolen, but stone is forever. As you move south from the grand intensity of the Hindu temples, the atmosphere changes. The Buddhist caves, numbered 1 through 12, offer a stark contrast of silence and structure. These are not just places of worship, they are viharas or monastic complexes. This is where the economy of the spirit met the economy of the trade route. These caves provided housing for traveling monks and a place of meditation for those seeking enlightenment. The architecture here is an illusion of the highest order. Take Cave 10, known as the Vishvakarma Cave or the Carpenter's Cave. When you look at the ceiling, you see massive wooden beams supporting the roof. But as you touch them, you realize they are stone. The artisans were so used to building with wood that when they moved into the rock, they mimicked the only style they knew. It is a haunting reminder of a transition in human history, where we left the fragile world behind to seek shelter in the eternal. In the center of Cave 10, a massive seated Buddha presides over a cathedral-like hall. The acoustics are designed so that a single chant ripples through the chamber, vibrating in your very chest. This was a place of inner transformation. While the Hindu temples celebrated the external drama of the gods, the Buddhist caves celebrated the internal journey of the mind. The contrast is jarring. You go from the roaring battles of the Hindu epics to the absolute crushing silence of the Buddhist halls. It forces the viewer to ask themselves, which path is harder, to fight the world outside or to conquer the world within? The Buddhist era at Ellora represents a peak of intellectual and spiritual stability, where the community functioned as a well-oiled machine of learning and peace. But the story does not end with silence. At the northern edge of the cliff, the Jain caves bring a new level of intensity. The Jain faith emphasizes extreme precision, nonviolence, and the liberation of the soul. This philosophy is reflected in the carvings of caves 30 to 34. These caves are smaller than the massive Hindu structures, but they are far more detailed. Every square inch of Cave 32, the Indra Sabha, is covered in intricate imagery. The symmetry is perfect. The celestial figures are carved with such fine detail that you can see the individual beads on their jewelry. The Jains didn't want to overwhelm you with scale. They wanted to fascinate you with perfection. They believed that the path to enlightenment was found in the details of one's own character, and their architecture reflects this meticulous focus. The presence of the Jain caves at the end of the timeline tells us something vital about the culture of ancient India. It shows us a society that was capable of evolving. As trade routes shifted and new dynasties rose, the spiritual landscape of Ellora adapted. It was a commercial hub where merchants would donate money to whichever cave suited their beliefs, and the monks in return would offer prayers for their safe passage across the dangerous plateaus. The economy of Ellora was a symbiotic relationship between the sacred and the secular. Without the wealth of the silk and spice trade, these caves would never have been carved. Without the spiritual pull of the caves, the trade routes might have bypassed this rugged terrain entirely. It was a perfect circle of human ambition. However, no empire lasts forever. By the 13th century, the vibrant life of Ellora began to fade into the shadows. The political landscape of India was shifting violently. The expansion of the Delhi Sultanate brought new ideologies and new conflicts to the Deccan region. Trade routes were disrupted, and the royal funding that had sustained the master carvers for centuries dried up. The caves, once filled with the smell of incense and the sound of chanting, fell silent. But the tragedy was not just in the silence. During the later years, particularly under the reign of Aurangzeb, many of the beautiful statues were intentionally defaced. Faces were chipped away and limbs were broken. It was an attempt to erase the identity of the site, to strip the gods of their power. Yet you cannot erase a mountain. The pillars remained. The grand structures of the Kailasa Temple stood defiant. Even in their damaged state, the carvings at Ellora possess a power that cannot be broken by a hammer. The rediscovery of Ellora in the modern era has forced us to reconsider our place in history. We often think of the past as primitive, yet we struggle to imagine how we would replicate the Kailasa Temple today without modern machinery. Ellora is a reminder that human potential is not a linear climb. It is a series of peaks and valleys. The people who built this site possessed a level of focus and communal dedication that we have largely lost in our age of distraction. They didn't build for the next quarter's profits, they built for the next 1,000 years. They understood that their lives were short, but their contribution to the collective human story could be eternal. This is the Machiavellian truth of Ellora. Power is fleeting, but the monuments of power define the narrative of history long after the kings are dust. What can we learn from this stone civilization hidden in time? Ellora teaches us that coexistence is not just a dream, it is a historical fact. For 400 years, 3 distinct religions lived and carved side by side. They shared the same air, the same rock, and the same sun. They didn't need to agree on the nature of God to agree on the beauty of a carved pillar. In our modern world, where division seems to be the default setting, Ellora stands as a massive basalt rebuke. It tells us that we are capable of creating something greater than our differences. It tells us that when we stop fighting over the surface and start digging deep into the shared rock of our humanity, we can create miracles. As we look back at the jagged cliffs of the Charanandri Hills, we must ask ourselves, what are we carving today? Are we building structures that will inspire people 1,000 years from now, or are we just leaving behind piles of digital noise and plastic waste? Ellora is a challenge to every viewer. It asks you to find your own mountain and start carving. It doesn't matter if your tools are simple, as long as your vision is grand. Life is short and the stone is hard, but with enough persistence, even a mountain must give way. The lesson of Ellora is simple. The only things that last are the things we build for others. The story of the Ellora Caves is far from over. Every year, archaeologists find new details, and every year, thousands of pilgrims and tourists walk through these halls, adding their own breath to the ancient air. The site is a living archive, a place where faith became architecture and architecture became an eternal message. It reminds us that humanity is at its best when it is reaching for something higher than itself. Whether it is the cosmic dance of Shiva, the quiet meditation of the Buddha, or the precise enlightenment of the Tirthankaras, Ellora holds a mirror up to the soul of mankind. We have traveled through centuries of dust and stone to bring you this story. We have seen how empires rose and fell, and how a mountain was transformed into mythology. But the most important part of this story is you. How will you apply the lessons of Ellora to your own life? Will you seek to build bridges of understanding like the ancient artisans did? Will you find the discipline to carve out your own masterpiece, even when the work is hard and the progress is slow? The world needs more people who are willing to do the deep work, the hard work, the work that lasts. If this journey into the heart of the stone has moved you, we invite you to be a part of our community. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the world's most incredible histories. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded of what humans are truly capable of. We want to hear from you in the comments. Which part of Ellora fascinated you the most? Was it the impossible engineering of the Kailasa Temple, or the peaceful silence of the Buddhist viharas? Does the coexistence of 3 religions in one place give you hope for our future? Let's start a conversation in the comments below.